I was still legally married to my husband, so imagine my shock when a wedding invitation arrived at my door, inviting me to his wedding with another woman. My name is Eliza Morgan, and I thought my marriage had its problems. I never imagined my husband was planning another wedding. It started on an ordinary Monday morning. When I opened my front door, a beautiful ivory envelope rested neatly on the welcome mat. There was no return address, only my name written in elegant gold letters. Mrs. Eliza Morgan. I smiled. One of our friends must be getting married. I carried the envelope into the kitchen, poured myself a cup of coffee, and carefully opened it. Inside was a luxurious wedding invitation. Gold foil, silk ribbon. Everything about it screamed expensive. Then I read the names. My smile disappeared. Jason Morgan, my husband. I blinked several times. Surely I had read it wrong. I looked again. No. It clearly said, Jason Morgan and Rebecca Hill request the honor of your presence at their wedding. The ceremony was scheduled 9 days from now. My coffee slipped from my hand and shattered across the kitchen floor. I checked my left hand. My wedding ring was still there. We had never divorced. We had never even discussed separating. In fact, Jason had kissed me goodbye that very morning before leaving for work. With trembling hands, I called him, straight to voicemail. Again, voicemail. I sent him a picture of the invitation. No reply. An hour later, I drove to his office. The receptionist looked confused. Jason Morgan? He resigned almost a month ago. My heart nearly stopped. What? He hasn't worked here since last month. I stared at her in disbelief. Every morning for the last 4 weeks, Jason had put on his suit, kissed me goodbye, and pretended to go to work. If he wasn't going to work, where had my husband been every single day? As I walked back to my car, someone slipped a folded note under my windshield wiper. I opened it. Only one sentence was written inside. If you want to know why Jason is marrying another woman, don't let him know you're coming. I read the note 3 times. There was no signature, no phone number, nothing. Just that single warning. A chill ran down my spine. Whoever wrote it knew Jason, and somehow they knew I had received the invitation. I looked around the parking lot. People walked in every direction, but no one seemed to be watching me. Or were they? I folded the note and slipped it into my purse. That night, Jason came home like nothing had happened. He kissed my forehead. How was your day? I stared at him. The same man who smiled at me every morning was preparing to marry another woman. I wanted to scream. Instead, I forced a smile. It was fine. He nodded and disappeared upstairs. The moment he closed the bedroom door, I quietly picked up his phone from the kitchen counter. Locked. I already knew the password, our wedding anniversary. But this time, access denied. He had changed it. Jason had never hidden his phone from me before. Never. The next morning, after he left the house, I couldn't ignore my instincts any longer. I followed him. Instead of driving toward his old office, he headed across town. 20 minutes later, he parked outside a beautiful white chapel. My heart pounded. Workers were decorating the entrance with fresh white roses. A large sign stood near the front gate. Private wedding ceremony. Before I could get closer, a woman stepped out of the chapel. She was stunning. Long blonde hair, an elegant white dress. She smiled as Jason walked toward her, then wrapped her arms around him. I felt my heart shatter. I quickly lifted my phone and took a picture. Just as I was about to leave, someone gently opened my passenger side door. I gasped. A man I'd never seen before slid into the seat beside me. He looked straight ahead and quietly said, I'm Adam Cross, the man who wrote the note. Adam reached into his briefcase and handed me a thick file. Across the front were 4 handwritten words. Rebecca is not the bride. Jason wasn't alone. I ducked beneath the window before anyone inside could see me. My heart was pounding so hard I thought they would hear it. Slowly, I looked through the glass again. Jason sat across from Rebecca. Between them was an older man wearing an expensive black suit. He opened a thick folder and slid several documents across the table. Jason didn't smile. He didn't look excited. He looked terrified. Rebecca leaned forward. You have 3 more days. If you don't sign, you know what happens. Jason buried his face in his hands. I've already done everything you asked. Rebecca's voice turned cold. Not everything. My hands tightened around the recording device Adam had given me. What was she talking about? The older man calmly added, once the wedding ceremony is complete, the Morgan family estate becomes legally accessible. I frowned. The Morgan family estate? Jason had once told me his late grandfather left behind millions of dollars. But there was one condition. The inheritance could only be claimed if Jason remained legally married. A chill ran through my body. Suddenly, everything clicked. This wasn't about love. It was about money. Jason slowly looked up. I kept Eliza away from all of this. I won't drag her into your game. Rebecca laughed. You already have. She reached into her purse and placed something on the table. It was our wedding photo. She slid it toward Jason. You have until Saturday. Marry me, or your wife dies. I felt every ounce of blood drain from my face. Adam had been right. Rebecca wasn't stealing my husband. She was using me. Just then, my phone vibrated. A message from an unknown number appeared. Look behind you. My heart stopped. I slowly turned around. A man dressed entirely in black stood only a few feet away. He smiled, then quietly said, You should have stayed out of this, Mrs. Morgan. Before I could scream, he whispered 5 words that froze me in place. Rebecca knows you're here. The man smiled. Before I could react, he grabbed my arm. Come with me. I yanked my hand away and ran. Behind me, I heard footsteps pounding across the gravel. My heart raced. I reached my car, slammed the door shut, and locked it just as he grabbed the handle. He stared at me through the window. Then he smiled. Run all you want. You'll still lose. He slowly walked away. My hands were trembling so badly I could barely start the engine. I drove straight to Adam's office. The moment I walked in, he looked at my face and knew something had happened. You saw him. I nodded. Who is he? Adam opened another file. His name is Marcus Kane. He used to work in corporate security. Now he works for whoever pays the most. I sat down. So Rebecca hired him? Adam shook his head. No. Someone much more powerful did. Before I could ask who, Jason burst through the office door. His face was covered in bruises. His shirt was stained with blood. Jason! He looked at me. I'm sorry. I should have told you everything months ago. I stepped back. Then tell me now. He took a deep breath. My grandfather's fortune isn't money. It's ownership. Whoever controls the company controls billions of dollars. I frowned. What does that have to do with Rebecca? Jason closed his eyes. Rebecca isn't marrying me because she loves me. She's marrying me because her father wants my family's company. Everything suddenly made sense. The fake affair, the wedding invitation, the threats. It had never been about destroying our marriage. It was about forcing Jason to sign away everything. Then Jason looked directly into my eyes. They kidnapped someone. My stomach dropped. Who? His voice broke. Your younger sister, Emma. The room went silent. They're holding her until the wedding. Adam slowly placed a photograph on the desk. It showed Emma tied to a chair. Across the bottom of the photo, in red letters, were 6 chilling words. Bring the marriage certificate or bury her. Bring the marriage certificate or bury her. I couldn't breathe. The photograph slipped from my hands. Emma, my little sister, blindfolded, terrified. Jason slammed his fist onto Adam's desk. This ends tonight. Adam nodded. It has to. He pulled a small tracker from his pocket. I planted this inside Rebecca's car yesterday. A red dot flashed across his laptop screen. They're still at the chapel. Jason looked at me. They're expecting us to surrender. They're not expecting us to fight. An hour later, police officers surrounded the old chapel in silence. Adam had already given them every recording, every photograph, and every document we collected. Jason squeezed my hand. I'm sorry I lied. I thought I could protect you. Tears filled my eyes. You almost lost me by trying. He nodded. I know. The police chief raised his hand. Go. Officers stormed through every entrance. Inside, chaos erupted. Rebecca tried to run. Marcus reached for his gun. He never had the chance. Within seconds, both were on the floor in handcuffs. I searched every room. Then I heard a faint cry. Eliza. I turned. Emma was tied to a chair inside a storage room. Emma. I ran to her, cutting the ropes with shaking hands. She threw her arms around me. I knew you'd come. I couldn't stop crying. It's over. No one's ever taking you again. Outside, Rebecca glared at Jason as officers escorted her away. You ruined everything. Jason calmly looked back at her. No. You ruined your own life the moment you thought love could be bought. 3 months later, the court uncovered years of fraud, blackmail, and corporate theft. Rebecca, Marcus, and her father were all convicted. Jason's grandfather's company remained in the Morgan family. But for Jason, the company no longer mattered. One quiet evening, we returned to the place where we had exchanged our vows years before. Jason held my hands. This time, no lies, no secrets. Will you marry me again? Through happy tears, I smiled. Only if it's the last wedding invitation I ever receive. He laughed. I promise. As we embraced, I realized something. The invitation that nearly destroyed our marriage had also exposed the people trying to steal our future. Sometimes the greatest betrayal doesn't end a love story. It proves whether that love was strong enough to survive.